hired a lot of people from pain and from desperation. But as an entrepreneur, it is so important that you hire for the position and you don't hire for the personality. When you're building your business, when you're building your team, when you are getting to your next dimension, you are no longer hiring for convenience. You are no longer hiring because you need that extra help. You are hiring because you believe that that person is going to play a pivotal role to help take your brand to the next dimension.
This for all the girls around the world. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, you guys, it's Nathalie Nicole, and I'm here with the For Every Woman podcast. And listen, today I have something so special for you. But before we begin, I want to say thank you so much for following the journey. Starting this show was not easy, but it was worth it. One thing that I want to tell you is whatever you put your mind towards, you have to do it. I was procrastinating. I was rethinking. I was changing my thoughts. By the end of the day, when I built the confidence to believe in myself, that's when nothing or no one can get in the way of what God already predestined for my life. So today, the conversation is going to get good. The conversation is one of those conversations that might hit a nerve. And after going through life, because y'all know life be lifing, life definitely lifes sometimes. But as long as you keep on evaluating your present, and you make decisions to align to a better tomorrow, that's when nothing gets in the way. So this week I realized I am the problem. I'm the problem for a couple of reasons. I have lived my entrepreneur journey hiring off of emotions. And this is a topic that a lot of people do not really dive into and discuss. As you're building your business, your brands, that thing that you're so passionate about, it's so important that you hire the right help. And I realized a couple things in my life right now. I have a lot of moving parts in my life right now. A lot. And I realized that it takes a team that's functional, that's trustworthy, that's independent to be able to add value to your next level. And I want to have a conversation about this because in the past, I heard a lot of people from pain and from desperation. But as an entrepreneur, it is so important that you hire for the position and you don't hire for the personality. I'm going to say that again. When you're building your business, when you're building your team, when you are getting to your next dimension, you are no longer hiring for convenience. You are no longer hiring because you need that extra help. You are hiring because you believe that that person is going to play a pivotal role to help take your brand to the next dimension. So over the course of the years, let's go back. 2012, when I opened up my first salon, Plush Beauty Box, I hired from desperation. With very little funds, I didn't have the money to be able to hire the people to get me to my next level. So I suffered a lot. Although we made six figures, that's a whole other story. Because we made six figures, but our bills are 6+ figures. We're going to talk about that. So hiring the right accountant, hiring the right bookkeeper, that would have played a pivotal role in me building my business. So let's have a conversation of where do you begin? First, you ideate. The idea that you believe in, that you're creating for your business. Even your brand. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a home decorator. I want to be a realtor. I want to be a blogger. What do you want to do? And when you write that down, underneath of that, you're going to write out, what is it going to take for me to become this? Next, who do I need to hire to be successful? The first thing I would have done when I first opened my business was consulted with an attorney. Attorneys charge hourly. Not every attorney is a bunch of money. You hire based on where you are in your business. But being able to consult with somebody about the right legal structure, about trademarking, a business plan is crucial in building the foundation of your business. The next thing that I would have done, that I'm doing now, is I will get my financial team together. Whether you take a class on how to use QuickBooks or you hire a bookkeeper, shout out to Alicia, AP Elite. It's like, I've been using Alicia for the last, 8 years? I'm talking about 8 years ago when my account was overdrawn. I'm talking about 8 years ago when I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. I'm talking about 8 years ago when my business was failing. I'm talking about 8 years ago before the social media excitement. And at the beginning of my business, that's when I realized that if my finances are not together, if my bills are not in order, I've not always been like this. Of course, I try to be organized, but I don't always get it right. That's when your team steps in. Every month, my team, financial team, sends me my P&Ls. What's your profit? What's your loss? They send me, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? They send me my budget. They ask me a lot of questions. Who's this person? Who's that person? Let's talk about it. As you're building your brand, you're going to have 1099s. I know you hear a lot about, you could write this off. And let me tell you this. When you hire an advisor, they will specify how your account should be set up, what cards to use, what receipts to save, how to store your receipts. Because at any given moment, you can be assessed. So one of the things I would tell my new entrepreneur, my seasoned entrepreneur, don't wait till it's too late to try to get it together. Do it now. Number one, in that space, when you're hiring, understand the difference between a 1099 and a W-2 employee. A W-2 employee has set hours. They are normally hourly or salary based. They come in at a certain time and they leave at a certain time. A 1099 has open availability and scheduling, meaning that you guys have an understanding that there's a certain job that's going to get done and you're paying them a certain amount of money to get it done. So one of the things I realized as I'm hiring the right help, let's talk about the legal side. I got to make sure that the people I'm hiring get an NDA and a contract agreement. Why is that important, Natalie? Because if I'm paying you to do a job, I want you to be certain that my brand holds weight and that my brand's a big deal. And if you're working with me in this partnership, that you play a pivotal role as we're building this empire. And I need you to take your job serious. And after going through disappointment and pain, I realized that I was bending the rules based upon the person. Natalie, I need a job. Natalie, I'm trying to figure it out. And here I go, Mother Teresa, giving opportunities and turning my business into a nonprofit. And that was a part of my story and is a part of my story. But that's where I took a pivot. Because if you want something big, if you want something grand, if you want to grow a brand in the business that really pays, that's going to pivot to that next dimension so you can be able to hit your goals, you got to take it serious. You got to take it serious. And as you're building out these teams and as you're building out this help, when people have a job description, a scope of work, and if you're part of the Woman Who Boss community, log in, look at the resources. We have it right there. You want to make sure that the person you are hiring knows what they're doing. So even the hairstylist that worked at my salon, understanding you are a 1099, you are a hairstylist. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. This is what it is. This is the expectation that we have. And as you have the clarity from your graphic designer, from your videographer, from your, even if you have a hairstylist on salary, a contractor, that is always coming to you, like myself. I'm speaking for myself. I'm sorry. Bad and bougie. But this is the truth. If I'm paying this person every 2 weeks or every week, if I have to be honest, to come to my house, you're a 1099, sis. And there's so many benefits of this because now it's a tax write-off. So I know y'all want me to talk about God. I know y'all want me to talk about the big faith. But God said, when you are faithful in the little things, He'll bless you with many. He promised us heaven on earth. He promised us abundance. He promised us that our days will be blessed. He promised us these specific things. And as I dug a little bit deeper, I realized I wasn't being a good steward. I realized that I was hiring these people and not holding them accountable for their job. I realized that I was the problem. And as I am growing as an entrepreneur and taking this full responsibility, it feels so good to identify the problem. It feels so good to hold people accountable. So I know what you're thinking. Well, Nathalie, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. Let's talk about it. Have you guys ever heard of Upwork.com or Fiverr.com? Do you guys know that the behind the scenes of my show, the post-production, is ran from a team overseas? Did you know that I still hire the right help, even if it's virtual? Do you know that my virtual assistant that manages my community is overseas in the Philippines? Did you know that my business has been so much more peaceful that I put these boundaries and these expectations for the roles in place? And this topic is not the feel-good conversation here. It's the get right conversation. And I remember yesterday, I had a rough day. Yesterday. I mean, you're like, well, Nathalie, just yesterday. See, joy comes in the morning. And I looked at myself and I said, Nathalie, you're still unpacking and rebuilding from your chaos for the last 2 years. Just because you had the resources to pay people doesn't mean that you are operating as a pinnacle leader, a pinnacle entrepreneur. You wasn't. So, beloved, I'm going to need you to toughen up. I'm going to need you to grow up right now. I'm going to need you to take full responsibility of your now, Because once you get a hold of all of the moving parts and you hire the right people and you course correct, guess what happens? Freedom happens. Freedom of minds, freedom of thoughts, freedom of heart. You now feel confident in your team. You now feel like you're heading in the right direction. So we talked about the legal side. We talked about the financial side. We talked about the 1099s. Now let's talk about what does it take for you to hire the right people. You got to go back to the drawing board. You got to go back to the drawing board. You got to go back and write out your vision. Nobody could serve you or support you unless you are clear on what you want. Who are you becoming in this process? As you grow this idea, that's going to be a big deal. That is a big brand and a big business. You got to believe so big where your vision is felt in your spirit. And as I have rough moments, it always allows me to go back to the vision. Nathalie, if it was easy, everybody would do it. Nathalie, you were built for this. Nathalie, you were chosen for this. Nathalie, how bad do you really want it? Yeah. And every time I go back to that, I get clarity and God gives me strategy. Every time I embrace my now and I get back grounded, I always ask God to order my steps, to cover my steps, to protect me. Allow my decisions to be led by you, Lord, not me, not my will, your way. Things start to get clear. The next thing I do is I make a checklist of what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. And whatever I'm doing wrong, that's where hiring the right help comes in. That's where evaluating the team comes in. One of my favorite books, I don't get no endorsement from this, is 5 Levels of Leadership by John Maxwell. One of the coldest books ever. I don't want to be respected just as a CEO. I want to be respected as a leader. I want to feel so confident that I can take my team to the next dimension because I am making sound decisions and I trust myself. And as you are growing and evolving, your team is going to grow. I remember I was talking to somebody and they were like, well, I have a business manager, I have this, I have that. And comparison is a thief of joy. You don't want to look at nobody else what they have going on. You want to say to yourself, I need A, B, C, and D. And I was so inspired by this person. Because I said, you know what? When I raise my bottom line, I am going to hire a business manager in this department. And as you digest every moving part, the peace starts to enter. The anxiety leaves. The sadness of not being that business that you believe you should be, that you didn't put the work in for yet, you now realize that you have what it takes inside of you, but you got to do the work. You start to realize that there's some things that you got to go back and fix. So today, I don't know if you're driving to work. I don't know if you're picking up your kids. I don't know if you're at the gym. I'm just so grateful that you're tuned into me right now because I want to help you. I want to help you. I want you to stop starting all these projects about implementing the persons that are going to fulfill the role to help you get to your next dimension. Because you're one person, you can't do it by yourself. You cannot do it by yourself. It's too difficult. I know the gurus are going to say, I was in my garage and, you know what I'm saying, I was in my 1-bedroom apartment, because I was in my 1-bedroom apartment too. But I got but so far. And when you know better, you do better. And it takes very little to hire support. It takes very little to do things the right way. If you got to get another job, you got to get another hustle. Don't waste your time being an entrepreneur, being a boss, without having a foundation that you trust and that you feel confident in. I know for a fact, you take your time, get back to your vision, get some clarity, make a list of who you need to hire, use resources like Indeed, Upwork, Fiverr. I like social media, but it's a whole other conversation. Because I'm hiring for the position, not the person. Pray about everything. I guarantee you will have a growing team that will help you get to your finish line of your goals, because it never stops. It never stops. Once you get to one goal, you're going to have another goal. But once you get there, you're going to feel really good about the process. I'm so grateful for you guys. Starting this show has not been easy. Hiring the right help, getting the right support, understanding the basics, and being vulnerable enough to ask for help. Being vulnerable to ask for help is not easy. But what got you here is not going to get you there. I'm going to say that again. What got you right here is not going to get you to your next dimension. So you got to do some things different. So I want to thank you guys for your support. Thank you so much for sharing this show. You guys been liking it. You've been commenting. You've been reposting on social media. And because of you all, I'm able to show up every single time with confidence, knowing that this seed is going to impact lives all across the world. That this seed is for every woman that truly wants to evolve. Every woman that wants to dream big, believe big, build big, brand big, and show up big. And that I'm going to consistently provide those resources for you all. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you comment and tell me what you think about this. Tell me what you need from me. Tell me, what is it going to take for us to get you to your next dimension? Be sure to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to my channel. And I cannot wait to hear the testimonials, because this is for every woman. Love you.